welcome to Louisville. Welcome to Bourbon and Beyond. Dude, I'm very excited to be catching you here. And I mean, first things first, it's Bourbon and Beyond. So I gotta ask, are you a bourbon drinker at all?
Well, I was just gonna tell someone today, I feel kind of bad for not being a bourbon drinker. I don't know why. But I kind of know why. Okay. Like I had a Jack Daniel's experience in high school. Yeah. It was about the most brutally drunk I've ever been, and it did not go well. And after that, the smell of Jack Daniel's always. I mean, I could drink it now, so I'll taste some stuff tonight, and my friends are really into it, so I'll look at their faces and go, "Oh, what'd you think of that one?" and like whatever. So that's. I'll be tasting some bourbon for sure.
Yeah, you at least get like the cues from all of them and everything, and it's like, I mean, I was the same way. I had a very, very bad experience drinking like Jack and Cokes and everything, and it was like for a long time I was like, oh, I can't do it. And then I moved to Louisville, and like people showed me like, oh, like this is the good shit here. So like that's kind of what you need. But hopefully you get like some decent stuff that they'll be exposing you to. But of course, got to ask for Bourbon and Beyond. But so I want to talk about new music because, I mean, you guys got the new album that's going to be coming out in the fall. All right, so there we go. Hell yeah. I mean, it's technically fall, even though it doesn't feel like fall outside right now. But from a calendar standpoint, we'll say yes. But 13th album from you guys. So let's talk about not only the new music and how things have evolved, over this career, but just the longevity of being able to stick around, be able to make it to that 13th album. So tell me a little bit about this album in particular first.
Well, I mean, the most interesting thing to me is that I'm working with Steve Jordan again. And I worked with Steve Jordan on a record called The Horse They Rode In On in 1990. And Steve said he was interested in this project, and I was just thrilled because I love working with him. And since last time I worked with him, he's joined the Rolling Stones, and I've had a certain amount of success with Grave Dancers Union and whatever. So it's great to come back together after all these years, and I mean, we work together even better because we've learned about our language and stuff. So to that effect, it was one of the funnest records I've ever made. It really was, and it was really efficient. There was no bullshit at all. Not a lot of overdubs or trickery or bullshitting around with editing or all that kind of stuff was out the window. So what you hear is what the band played. And I went to New York to record vocals and mix the record at Electric Lady. And it was really it felt like this is how it's supposed to feel. And it didn't feel that way in 1990 because we kind of sucked. I mean, we were still kind of a shitty punk rock band in a way, but we learned a lot from working with Steve. Yeah. So that's what I really looked forward to, is just his ability to be a player, producer, kind of an all-around guy. And I don't know, I think the fun that we had making it, you can hear on the record. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to that rawness, that energy that comes with, when you're in the studio, but you're also very comfortable, as opposed to, it's like, okay, well, we know what we're doing, but like that easiness, so to speak, of being in the studio with somebody who's familiar and like will push you to do things without like being offensive. Like, so I definitely dig that. And I mean, I'm looking forward to hearing, the entire album and, just kind of seeing how some of that stuff, like you said, like going back to like 1990, like like how much of that vibe and that sound is going to translate over into the new album. So I'm definitely excited for that. And when we talk about the longevity of the band and being out here at a festival setting and everything, it's like, when you think about putting together that set list for a festival where it's definitely going to be a shorter set, something like that, one of my favorite things to ask any artist, and especially now that you got such a big catalog to choose from, you think about the longest set that you've played, all right, a big headlining set. There's always the staple songs. You want to throw in some new stuff, some fan favorites. What's a song that you wish you could put on the set list, but for some reason it's always one of those first ones that always gets cut, maybe for time, maybe for it's too complex to put into the set? Like, what's something you wish you could put into the set list that you just narrowly miss out on?
Well, it's kind of an easy question right now because there's, like, if we play a 90-minute set, we'll play 6 or 7 of the new songs. But we really only have time for one tonight. So, there's a handful of songs on the new record that I wish we could play today.
Well, what do you think about, like, let's say, all right, let's put all those new songs in at, let's say, a 90-minute set. Now what do you put in as, like, this one just barely, like, this would have been, like, in the 93rd minute of a typical headlining set. What else would you think would barely just miss out?
Well, if we don't play String of Pearls, it's probably String of Pearls.
Okay.
Because people really like that song, and it's like a story, and it just kind of sticks out as something like, what the hell? And I'm just rambling on, and it's a little different, and it's in 3, so we played it a lot, and then it was like, okay, let's stop playing that one for a while, and I'm always like, maybe we should have played that.
I mean, do you still have time to adjust the set list to throw it in for the festival crowd here?
That's right. I can always call an audible.
I mean, that would actually be kind of hilarious to do on stage and just like watch everybody else be like, hey, we're gonna do this one instead, and they're like, okay, well, all right, yeah, we can do that. I tell you, well, I'm very much looking forward to checking you guys out in a little bit here with Bourbon and Beyond. It's great to have you back here. I'm looking forward to the brand new album as well, and I appreciate you taking some time to sit down, chat, and it's gonna be a fun time. You got to make sure that you stay cool out there because it's hotter than hell right now.
And stay cool in both ways, man.
Right?
You don't want to be uncool.
I mean, I like to think that I'm like cool enough, but I'm also like temperature-wise like hotter than hell.
Yeah, it's been. We just got off a tour. It's been a hot summer.
Yeah, for sure. But like, how does it compare? Like I was about to say, it's like are you still splitting time and everything between because you're living in New Orleans and Minneapolis, right?
Yeah. I'm spending a lot more time in Minneapolis. My father's getting real old, and that's where my family is, and that's where my people are. And I miss a lot of things about New Orleans, but I go there frequently. My kid no longer lives there, so I have less of a reason to go there. But we get down there. Just went to Jazz Fest, and we'll be back there soon. So.
I mean, it's probably better to be there like during the winter time, like you could actually have like some decent weather for that.
That was kind of the goal in the first place, was to spend the winters in New Orleans and the summers in Minneapolis. And then you have a kid and everything changes,
I know. I got a 2-year-old and like my entire life changed. Yeah, so I definitely feel that right to my core, but I appreciate you taking some time to hang and talk, man. It's always a pleasure. I'm looking forward to the set, and yeah, anytime you want to come back to Louisville, we'll have some really good bourbon that you'll enjoy more than